a small cluster of creatures who reside in the oak tree, sharing a resemblance to bats for their ears, crows for their beaks, and dogs for their fur, are commissioned by a group of aristocratic mice to create a doll with the likeness of a girl. With great care, the creatures finish their creation, but adore the girl too much that they're unwilling to sell her to the mice, prompting the rodents to return at night, stealing her away. Emotionally affected by their loss, the creatures who reside in the oak tree decide to trace the path of the mice, retrieving the creation they so dearly love. This is Christiane Cegavske's Blood, Tea and Red String, an independently crafted surrealist stop-motion feature reminiscent of folkloric magic due to its darkly fantastical sights and its rural comforts. Within the film's central conflict between the oak creatures and the mice, the film pits two differing factions against each other, one that expresses unity in compassion, the other debauchery in their selfishness, in a similar way to how societal obsessions create drastic rifts between oppositions. Blood, Tea and Red String looks like an animated gothic tea party populated by long-lost Sylvanian Families playsets. It's a memorable, endearing, bespoke aesthetic that has traces of Lewis Carroll in its gentle fantasy and Jan Schwankmeyer in the stop-motion animation's hodgepodge ruffling and texture. The film was an independent passion project for Cegavske, taking her 13 years to complete Blood, Tea and Red String, bringing these plasticine and doll-like creations to life within a gorgeous forested landscape from a world far removed from our own, where plants can lure life to its doom with hallucinogenic fruit, where newborns are birthed from an egg placed inside a chest cavity, where new life transforms into a jewel as an offering for an ever-present being beyond our comprehension. Cegavske's imagination runs endearingly wild with this film, collecting symbols and ideas which appear to be pagan in this world, only to be completely understood by Cegavske herself. While Blood, Tea and Red String can feel esoteric on an initial viewing, we can identify that there is clearly a contrast in behaviours between the aristocratic mice and the creatures who dwell within the oak tree. The creatures console each other with hugging, consideration for their well-being, and remain united in a shared goal. The mice are selfish, entitled and mean-spirited, stealing the girlish doll which doesn't belong to them, beating up a spider unwilling to assist them, corrupted by their own excesses, later fracturing amongst themselves. Both sides of this opposition share a communal adoration for the lifeless, corpse-like figure of their yearning. Whether intentional or not, their obsessional conflict is reminiscent of religious turmoil under a single god. That is, if we view the inanimate doll as a godlike figure, a being able to birth new life from death, her birth or rebirth evolving into an offering for a greater being, as if, like the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, an offering to God for the absolution of humanity. The mice keep the doll for their own hedonistic wishes, whereas ultimately the creatures of the oak tree have more selfless intentions, providing the offspring, a harpy child, to something beyond their comprehension. While their conflict isn't of the scale of a bloody holy crusade, the tension shares a similar motivation in reclaiming a deity for one side over another. However, if this interpretation feels like a stretch, there's no harm in viewing Blood, Tea and Red String on more simpler terms. A dark fable on the destructive consequences of self-absorption, catering to greed rather than respecting the work and boundaries of others. In conclusion, Christiane Cegavske's Blood, Tea and Red String may remind us of Schwankmeyer's grim fantasies crafted from household items, or the childlike wonder of Lewis Carroll, tinged with our curiosity for the morbid. But Cegavske's film feels wholly her own creation too, like the idolised doll of the creatures who live within the oak tree. A fairy tale, a fable, quietly eerie odyssey filled with folkloric tangents and allusions to paganistic magic, Blood, Tea and Red String might not be the easiest film to process for the outsider looking into Cegavske's world, but it's nothing short of engrossing. You'll likely never see a film quite like this. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil, and my super tier Patreon supporters Constantine Bombelli, Jamie and Milkway.